There we go.
Good.
Let's make sure this. There we go.
Nice. Hi guys, welcome to the We Are Boom panel. I just wanted to give a nice friendly reminder, there is photography allowed, no flash, so please turn off your flash on your camera. Also, please turn your cell phones to silent or vibrate. You can take your phones outside to make a call or whatever, but turn the cell phones on to silent. And last thing is there is a microphone in the middle of the room. If you have questions, please go up to the microphone to ask your question and don't ask from your seat. We're streaming live so that so if you ask from your seat, no one online can hear you. So please go to the microphone up there. Okay? Cool. Thanks.
All right. Let's get some sound going here. Is the sound? Can you get the audio? There we go. Hey everybody, welcome to the 2014 We Are Boom panel. It's a little bit of fun because we actually started our new format for our panels here at Emerald City Comic Con last year. So how many, just quick show of hands, how many of you guys came to the panel last year? All right, there we go. Well, then the rest of you are in for a treat. So last year we came to Emerald City Comic Con, and one of our goals over the course of our convention tour last year was to really talk about who Boom Studios is, because what we realized is that we do such a diverse amount of genres and work with so many different creators and do so many different things that from a fan perspective, sometimes you might be an Adventure Time fan and you know us for that, or you might be a fan of something like Max Bemis's Polarity, but you might not know who we are as a company and how that all fits together. So that's what we focused on last year, and we felt like we did a really good job with that. And this year we wanted to really focus a little bit more and share with you what we believe and what drives us and what gets us up in the morning every day. And so let me start off with some introductions. My name is Filip Sablik. I'm the VP of Publishing and Marketing, and I am Boom.
My name is Ross Richie. I'm the CEO and the founder, and I am Boom.
My name is Matt Gagnon, Editor-in-Chief of Boom Studios, and I am Boom.
My name is Stephen Christie. I'm the VP of Development, and I am Boom.
My name is Paul Jenkins. I'm a comic book creator, and I am Boom.
So thank you. So last year we came here, and as I said, we talked about who we are, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on that this year, but I thought it was worth highlighting at least because amazingly enough, since this time last year, we've actually added 2 new imprints. So we have 4 imprints at Boom Studios. And they're the core Boom Studios brand that launched the company, where we do, well, we'll get into that in a second what we do. We have Boombox, we have Archaia that we added last year, which was another amazing publisher based out of Los Angeles that joined the team, and then and we have KaBOOM, which is our all ages line. But rather than have me drone on, which nobody wants except for me, we're going to let our team share very quickly and give you an idea of who we are and what each of these imprints are.
Hi, my name is Emmy, and I am bold. I'm Ross, and I'm relentless. My name is Eric Carter, and I'm elevated. My name is Devin Fuentes, and I am original. I am Chris, and I am forward thinking. I'm Philip, and I'm sincere.
Hi, my name is Daphne Clevin, and I am genre fiction. Higher up, genre fiction. Genre fiction. Genre fiction. Genre fiction.
My name is Cameron Jig, and I'm high-end.
A little bit higher.
High-end. I'm high-end.
I am Michelle Inkley, and I am beautifully designed.
My name is Stephen Christie, and I am carefully curated.
My name is Tay, and I'm an October.
I'm Mel, and I'm thoughtful.
Yeah, my name is Jackson, and I am. Okay. Hi, my name is Jackson, and I am weird.
My name is Aaron, and I'm New Voices. Alex, and I'm experimental.
I'm Steve, do that one again. Hi, my name is Kelsey, and I'm progressive. I am Christina, I'm free-spirited. Shannon, and I am truculent. KaBOOM. I'm Hannah, and I am fun.
I'm Jose, and I am next generation.
I am Whitney, and I am creative. Stephanie, and I am optimistic. My name is Brandon, and I am accessible. But you're supposed to be in the front. I'm supposed to be behind the curtains. I'm so They're going to use this as an outtake.
So that's our team. Actually, it's not our entire team, because in addition to adding 2 imprints, we doubled the size of our team last year, thanks to all of the amazing support from fans like you. And you know what? One of the things we always like to show is how amazingly diverse our team is, just like the books that we produce. You know, there's a voice in our company, I think, for whatever your taste is and whatever your passions are, and that's represented in the people that make the comics for Boom. So let's dive into what we believe.
So one of the things that's a core value as the company founder that I can talk about is the importance of classic voices. And there's creators that have been around the business for decades. And the reason that they've been around the business for decades is because of their creativity and that their voice is unique. In particular, you see in the middle there, 3 Guns. We had a movie come out last year, 2 Guns. 3 Guns is the comic book sequel to it, and it was created by Stephen Grant. And Stephen started writing comics in 1978. We just lost.
Oh.
We just lost that. So Stephen started writing comics in 1978 and has been doing it obviously for decades, and is one of the more successful comic book writers, having been able to last in the business that long. And you know, arguably the highlight of his career just happened recently with the publication of 2 Guns and then it turning into a movie. Who shows, you know, a guy like that is incredibly creative and has great longevity. And then, you know, Charles Schultz is one of the greatest creative voices on the planet, whose work has lasted the test of time. And then with Sergio Tappi, who's one of the greatest artists and European artists, but of course any artist ever. Huge influence on, if you're familiar with Bill Sienkiewicz, is one of the greatest comic book artists of all time, or Walter Simonson, hugely influential artist. So I'm going to stop saying artist over and over and over again, and I'm going to say we really believe in classic voices, and it's an important tenet of the company to give a venue for some of these people who have been able to be creative for decades.
And one of the things we love to do at these panels is, while we would love to, in the same way we would love to bring our entire team here to this panel to talk to you, somebody has to man the booth, and most of them are up there. We would love to have every single creator, you know, that we work with at these panels, but that isn't always possible. So what we like to do is we like to get them to talk to you guys through the magic of audiovisual technology.
You know, many have asked me why, after 40 years in the industry, I decided to go to a small company like Boom. But after working on so many corporate characters and seeing the landscape changing, felt the need to feel creative again. And Boom has been providing me that in spades. I can't believe how much fun I'm having drawing comics again, because Boom's only corporate policy is let's produce good comics. And the creative freedom I've been receiving and the incredible amount of attention to the work itself has been very gratifying. It feels like I've stepped back in time to when comics really were fun. And I hope that the work I do for them, the new She Devil series, proves worthy of the faith they put in me and the fans have put in me. My name is George Perez, and I am Boom.
So one of the other big things we believe in is doing it right. And Steven's going to explain what that means.
So when you look at the landscape of comic book publishers, you see a lot of people that are doing licensed books. There was quite a bit of controversy recently with a publisher of another company talking about licensed comics, saying that they weren't real comics. But you know, coming to Boom from Archaia, what I've seen here is we never take on any project that we don't believe in 110%. It's not a company that's driven by needing to get, you know, books out there for market share or just to satisfy certain things. You will find a fan, as Filip said, for every single book that we publish within our company. And one of the things that's so much fun about coming to work every day is that everybody at the office has their favorite projects. Everybody has that thing that they're passionate about. And to hear them talk about it, like Daphne, who's the editor on Sons of Anarchy, that you see on the left here, we're so lucky to have passionate people, and I think that that's the reason why we're able to do the projects we do. Kurt Sutter, who created Sons of Anarchy, could have gone with any other, you know, any company, but he chose to go with Boom because of our core beliefs and our core tenets, and we promised him, we said, bring this to us and we will treat this right. This will be something that you can be proud of. This will be something that ties into your show, and this will be something that fans will get behind and believe in. And, you know, that's the reason why we got that comic. Big Trouble in Little China, which we just announced, an incredible thing. We could have just decided, you know, oh, let's put out, you know, 3 different miniseries at the same time and just get random people to write it. But no, we wanted to go to the source, and we went to John Carpenter, who is co-writing the book with Eric Powell, the creator of The Goon. So what we're doing here is we're trying to get the original voices who created these properties or were involved in these properties. We're trying to bring them into the fold because it's so much fun to make comics and to not have, you know, a studio looking over you or a network, and really be able to do stuff that's incredible content. And that, to me, is, I think, why we've been able to work with so many incredible people, why we've been able to partner with Clive Barker, partner with the Jim Henson Company, partner with the Charles Schultz estate. There's a reason why these people keep coming to us, and it's because every single person at this company believes in doing it right. And I'm very, very proud to be here and be a part of that team.
So one of the things that really gets me up in the morning, and I know everybody else here on the podium as well, is doing new original stories. And I truly believe it's something that keeps in a very significant way, keeps our industry relevant, right? It's stories that have never been produced before. It's doing new things, fresh things, things that you haven't seen. And the original comics like Dead Letters, Evil Empire, Last Broadcast that you see up here are ways for us to sort of stretch our wings and try new things. And it's really kind of a cornerstone of what we do. So, you know, working with new creators, being a part of these original stories is sort of what pushes the industry forward in a way, and that's really a big mission of ours. So The Woods is a new original series that's coming out in May. It's from James Tynan IV, and you'll probably recognize James from many of the books that he's written over at DC. This is his first original ongoing series that he's written for the direct market in print. And James will have some things to say.
Sorry about that.
My name is James Tynan IV. You might know my work for the Batman line for DC Comics. I'm writing a new series called The Woods for Boom Studios, launching this May. It's a story of a high school transported in the middle of an alien wilderness, and the story of the children inside as they dive into the unknown, trying to figure out how to survive. When Boom Studios approached me a year ago to discuss the kind of stories I might be interested in telling, I laid everything out on the table. I love horror stories. I love insane, mind-bending science fiction. And I love stories centered around young characters. And what I saw was the same passions reflected back at me, and a real belief that this industry can tell any kind of story, and that is the greatest strength of the comics medium. So I gave them the story that I felt encapsulated everything I wanted to do in the comics format. And the whole process, working with these amazing editors and production staff, has just totally energized me for the future. I know that this is the beginning of an incredible partnership that I hope lasts for years. Boom Studios has been an amazing find for me, and
So James is an incredible storyteller, and doing these original books, I believe, is really something that sets us apart. Last year in 2013, we had a great run of original titles, and just to rattle off a few, it was Polarity, Suicide Risk, Clive Barker's Next Testament. We did a book called Six Gun Gorilla with Cy Spurrier and Jeff Stokely. Daymen, Hit, Imagine Agents. There were so many great original books that we did, and in 2014, we've got a lineup that we're really proud of, and I think kind of takes things to the next level. So Cullen Bunn is one of our favorite writers. He's doing a ton of great work over at Marvel right now. In fact, he just had a new Magneto series come out, and he writes the Six Gun over at Oni. I've been wanting to work with Cullen for years, and finally we had the opportunity to hook up with him on a project, and he will tell you some things about The Empty Man.
The Empty Man is a story that I've wanted to tell for a while now. It started out as this idea of a virus, a contagious insanity that would sweep across the world and would be viewed by certain members of society with this almost religious reverence. Over time, I've layered in a lot of new horror elements and some real strange, insane aspects to this world and to the story. And I ended up deciding that the way I wanted to tell the story was through a police procedural with a lot of J-horror elements worked into it. I knew that I needed to work with a publisher who would not be afraid to let me tell the kind of story that I wanted to tell. A publisher who wouldn't make me pull punches when it came to these surreal aspects or to the very visceral horror that will come up in the story. And I wanted to work with someone who would connect me with a great editorial team and great artistic talent to help bring that story to life. And I'm very happy to say that at long last, Boom is the company that will be bringing The Empty Man to readers. I am Cullen Bunn, and I am Boom.
So Frank Barbiere is another phenomenal storyteller. If you guys have seen Hoax Hunters over at Image, it's an amazing book. This is a guy who is a new kind of up-and-coming talent that we identified, and he's somebody that we reached out to, asked him if he had any ideas, and he pitched us something that we were very interested in. Black Market is a story that Frank Barbiere will tell you a little bit about right now.
Hi, my name is Frank J. Barbiere, and I'm a comic book writer, probably best known for my creator in Series 5 Ghost. And I'm really excited to say that I'll be bringing you a new series with Boom in 2014. Boom had a really fantastic 2013, and just as a fan, I saw a lot of great new ideas come out of the studio, a lot of awesome new art, and a lot of great new writers. And as a creator, I really want to get involved. Really happy to be here. There's a lot of excitement at Boom. They really want new stuff, which as a creator is exciting to me because it's my favorite thing to do, to bring you new ideas. I can't wait to show you what we're working on, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'd just like to say that I'm Frank Barbiere, and I am Boom.
So another really important tenet for us and a belief is believing in the next generation. Boom is a company that was really focused on trying to create the next generation of readers when it wasn't in vogue, when there wasn't really much of an audience for it in comic shops. And so something that we're incredibly proud of is that you take that belief and you see it through and you go the distance with it. And what's amazing is that we've seen since 2009, when we first started publishing all ages titles with the Disney comics that we did, that there's been this amazing growth in comic shops and at conventions with folks bringing their families, and we really believe that we were on the tip of the spear for that, and that through the work that we've done, because the projects that we pick are all ages, they're projects and books that very young readers can enjoy, traditional kind of comic fans can enjoy, and just a whole spectrum of folks can get some really incredible things out of it. And what's terrific was when Archaia joined the Boom family about 8 months ago, they shared a lot of the same beliefs with projects like Cowboy and Rust. Rust is actually, a fun thing to call out because Royden Lepp, who's the amazing cartoonist who created and writes and draws Rust, is from Seattle. And he debuted the 3rd book here at the show, and it's just amazing to see, the hometown response for somebody like Royden, who had never written or drawn a comic book before. This was his first project, and the reality is that 5-6 years ago, a guy like Royden, who wanted to tell a really epic but sweet all-ages story, wouldn't have a place to go to tell that story, and the market would not have been supportive of it. So something we're incredibly proud of, and and I like to joke, it seems like it's altruistic, but it's not, because all of us here have dedicated our lives to comics, and we don't know how to do anything else. So unless we don't want to be working down the line, we need to make sure that we're replenishing, the fans. And one of the projects we're incredibly excited about that's coming up here in May is Bee and Puppycat. It's from an amazing creator named Natasha Allegri, and she she works on the Adventure Time show. She actually created Fiona and Cake, which are 2 really incredibly popular characters. And then this year she's come out with her own creation called Bee and Puppycat, and we're going to let you hear what she has to say about that.
Bee and Puppycat is a comic about a girl and a alien space dog cat that she finds while waiting in the street for the rain to stop. And it's a story that I'm really excited to get to work with Boom on, because I've worked with Boom on other things, and it's always been a really awesome experience. Hi, Pancake. Yeah, say hi. Okay.
So that's Natasha. She's amazing. She's an incredibly sweet and talented creator. We're just really fortunate and excited to work with her. And then what I'd love to do is I'd love to turn things over to Paul Jenkins, because he's got an amazing all-ages title called Fairy Quest that we publish as well. He's going to tell you a little bit about that.
Yeah, Fairy Quest is something that I do with Humberto Ramos. He and I did the Spectacular Spider-Man together for a long time. So, I've worked in mainstream comics for quite a long time. And one of the things that I used to really concentrate on was single-issue stories, because I believe that the place where the comic industry lacks quite a lot is that we don't attend to new readership. A single-issue story is kind of one and done, but in the mainstream publishing view, it sometimes is seen as a throwaway because you're not really tying into another comic. But I very much always disagreed with that, because the idea would be that anybody could walk into a comic store and read a single-issue comic, whether it be Spider-Man or Batman or any of the mainstream characters. Well, that went away some time ago, but it never left my heart, because I really wanted to build for all ages. So the world of Fablewood is basically a world where every single story that's ever been told lives. And right in the very center of it are the children's fiction. And in that environment, the children's stories are made to tell their story, otherwise they get their minds wiped in the dreaded mind eraser. And Red Riding Hood and the wolf have become friends against the wishes of their dictators. So they try to escape along the yellow brick road to freedom, a place they've heard of called the real world. And the best part about Fairy Quest is I'm a dad, I have an 8-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I'm able to give my book equally to a young girl who'd be 5 years old and have her look at the artwork, which is absolutely beautiful. But I can also equally give it to a man in his 60s, and I will always get the same result. People will come back to the booth and say, when do we get the next issue of this book? Despite the fact that Humberto's artwork is beautiful, to me, the most gratifying part of that is that it is truly all ages. Like, we don't categorize all ages as just being for younger readers. Instead, it's for all ages. That means we can all enjoy it together. And I think if we want to make this comic industry outgrow the narrow focus that it's had for so long, the thing that we need to do is to concentrate on bringing to new readers and making them all ages. So that's why I am beyond excited to be doing what I do with Boom.
And we have the second installment of Fairy Quest coming soon, right, Paul? We just completed You just completed a successful Kickstarter.
Yeah, here's the cool thing. I believe that's true of Bee and Puppycat. Is that correct?
Yes.
Kickstarter? Okay,
Yeah.
so if any of you are familiar with Kickstarter, we followed an interesting model. Umberto and I thought that the fans would vote for its existence with their wallets, in a sense. You guys became the publisher. So we initially published it through Kickstarter. We raised the money. We then took the project to KaBOOM so that KaBOOM could spread it across the entire world. And we just did a second Kickstarter, and we hit our goals. We made some stretch goals, and the second book is on its way. So that book will always be published through Kickstarter initially, and then come through KaBOOM and basically be spread out. And that means that it gets voted for by the fans. If you want it to exist, it becomes into existence, which is an ideal model for me because it tells us whether we're doing it right or wrong.
Go ahead. So another thing that we think is critical at KaBOOM is to build the comic book company of tomorrow. And we think that the way that we could do this is by doing a wide range of different kinds of material and assembling a staff that is made of a bunch of different kinds of people that come from a bunch of different walks of life. One of the things I'm really excited about that we're debuting here at the show is the slide in the middle, Lumberjanes. Project that's written and drawn by an entire team of women, edited by a woman, featuring female characters, and is one of the big hits of the show. We've already seen fans were cosplaying here, and the first issue hadn't come out until the first day of the show. So it's a really exciting to do next generation content. You know, The Joiners in 3D, which came out from Archaia, is the first graphic novel that was done in 3D, and it's you know, our vision for KaBOOM is to be doing next generation content with next generation creators, and to push our company to be the kind of company that comic book companies will be years from now. And we really believe that the future is now.
So two of the creators working at our Boombox label, which is really our home for fun, experimental content, and as Ross said, Lumberjanes is a new title we're debuting from that imprint Boombox here. Two of the creators here, Noelle Stevenson and Shan Waters, are going to tell you a little bit about Lumberjanes.
Lumberjanes is a series about 5 best friends that are scout camp for the summer, and they're total badasses. There are monsters and feelings and awesome fights and what else? What else is there? Yetis. Apparently Yetis. Apparently there are going to be Yetis. You have to wait for it though. You have to wait for Yetis. It's worth waiting for it. Don't talk about too much. We brought Lumberjanes to KaBOOM because KaBOOM, I am an editor at KaBOOM, and they are extremely open to new ideas and stuff that the market's not necessarily doing right now. And you know, they have a very, very diverse staff, and Boombox especially is a place for kind of weird, wild, offbeat projects, and so it seemed like a great place for an awesome little comic about best friends fighting monsters.
I love KaBOOM. KaBOOM is like my comics family. They were the people who brought me into comics in the first place. We're happy to be writing a title with KaBOOM, so that brings it all full circle. And yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
I'm Shannon Waters.
And I'm Noelle Stevenson.
And we are KaBOOM.
There's a fun story about Noelle. So Noelle was actually an intern at KaBOOM when she was in college, and she interned for us one summer. And one of the things we do in the summer is we go to San Diego Comic-Con every year, and the interns that intern for us, we bring them to San Diego with us, and they get to work the booth. And you know, for a lot of them, it's their first time at a show of that size. And what was really interesting was we were working the booth, and we started noticing that people were coming up and asking for Noelle, and then they were asking for her autograph. And we're like, why are these people asking for an autograph from the intern? And what we hadn't realized was that she had been doing this amazing webcomic while she was in college called Nimona, and she had built up this incredible fan base. And it's a great example of, you know, I think as an industry, we tend to be very myopic in where we look for our talent and how we define successful creators. And here was, this amazing young talent who hadn't even graduated college and already, built up an incredible fan base.
Right.
So,
And when she announced Lumberjanes on her Tumblr, there was 20,000 shares in the first hour, which we thought was pretty wild.
yeah. So we're excited about that. And so along those lines, one of the ways that we're trying to build the company of the future is to look in places that the comic industry traditionally would not look, because that will be what helps us pull new fans into the industry. And one of the things we are doing coming up here this summer is we're very pleased and very thrilled to let you guys be the first to know that the amazing Cyanide and Happiness webcomic, their latest collection, Punching Zoo, is going to be published by BOOM, and hopefully that will lead to many exciting things with the Cyanide and Happiness guys. If you're not familiar with Cyanide and Happiness, first of all, that's Cyanide and Happiness right there. It's one of the longest running web comics on the web. It's been running for almost 10 years. They have millions of visitors a day, and what they've managed to do is it's really this incredible example of the creativity that's online. For creators that live in different parts of the world that are creating these hilarious and very poignant strips without, necessarily what some folks would consider a ton of traditional draftsmanship. The comic strip is all, or the webcomic is all stick figures, but it's so smart and so funny that it's built up this amazing audience. So we're really thrilled to welcome these guys to the Boombox family. And so, just to recap, in case you guys weren't paying attention.
Or came in late.
We believe in classic voices. We believe in doing it right. We believe in being original. We believe in the next generation. We believe that the future is now. We are Boom Studios, and we invite all of you to come innovate with us.
You want to do some Q&A?
We got time? So, because we have a little extra time, I think, right? We got some time. We thought it would be fun to do a Q&A. So 15 minutes, awesome. So if anybody has any questions they'd like to ask, you'll have to shout over Macklemore. But no, I'm just kidding. We'll turn Macklemore off.
So make sure you go up to the microphone.
Comic you guys are going to do, because it broke my heart that you didn't do it.
That is...
Take that. So, I'll put it this way for you. The Dune comic hasn't completely gone away. There may still be an opportunity there, but there's nothing more that I can say right now. But we love Dune as much as you do, which is why we wanted to do it in the first place.
All right, cool.
So yeah, keep an eye out.
Yeah, one of the things that
Don't give up.
I think is really unique about us in terms of licensed comics, and that Stephen touched on, is we really only take on pre-existing properties that we ourselves are really passionate about. And Dune, I mean, it's your favorite series.
Totally foundational for me.
Yeah, and it's something we've been working on for a long time. Just to give you an idea, Big Trouble in Little China is coming out this summer from us, and that was something that we were working on for almost 5 or 6 years before we were able to get it done. So
Cool. Cool. Thanks for the question. Any other questions?
Any other brave souls?
Look at that. Look at that.
Yes.
Here we go.
This is for writing. How do you guys pair writers with artists? Like, does the writer have a say, or how does that work?
How do we pair writers with artists? Is the
because
is
the
the
tone
question?
always matches perfect. Like,
Oh, thank you.
it just
Uh,
works
Thank
so
you.
well.
Paul,
We use handcuffs.
Paul, do writers have a voice?
Writers actually very much do have a voice. It's awesome. It's like if I looked at the Deathmatch series that I did, that was something that these guys paired me with Carlos Magnon. So, when I saw that, I was at that point kind of trusting their editorial instincts in a sense, right? That happens all the time. Whereas with a new project that we're doing that will follow on from Fair Request, obviously I chose to work with Umberto, but I have a new project that's coming just after that, and I chose the artist. I I said, I really think this guy's the perfect one, and nobody stood in my way. So it's great. It's like it's a mixture of all of them. I can get recommendations, and I go, that's kind of a good idea. Other times I can just say, this is what I want, and they're perfectly open to it, so it's great.
Yeah, you spoke a lot about trust in an earlier panel, and that works. Like, it seems like Boom is about that, so.
Can I speak to that too? Trust, that's the key concept in an editorial writer-creator relationship. I think it's probably, as much as communication, trust is so important. I trust these guys with my career. I couldn't say any better than that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And just to kind of go into that really quick, one of the things that we really believe in is the idea that creators and a company can collaborate successfully and both can be happy. And you hear a lot of stories in the business about, a company owns a trademark character, they're focused solely upon that, the creative teams are considered subservient to that. Obviously, that's a business model that works really well for certain companies, and they make hundreds of millions of dollars servicing those copyrights. Then there's the other range where creators often go out on their own, and they don't have any support in the business, and they're trying to they're trying to publish themselves, they're trying to do their own marketing, they're trying to do all the different things that's required to make a comic book, and they're struggling and having a hard time. And we feel like there's a happy medium that can service our creators, and Boom can be a partner, and we can work together and collaborate, and that we can be a next generation company where it's not all about the company and it's not all about the creator, but it's a cooperative effort between the company and the creator, and that we can do something better if both of us cooperate together.
Hi.
Hello. Hi. How are you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Very good.
Look, all look very handsome up there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Keep talking.
Whatever whatever question you're asking us, the answer is yes.
I guess I'll sit down then. I got what I wanted.
Please don't.
So I was thinking, you guys mentioned that Big Trouble in Little China took about 5 to 6 years to launch. Do you think that it's going to find better success now because there's such a huge interest in the revival of 80s and 90s properties, that now is really the time to do it? And do you think it's going to outlast that interest, or do you think it's going to maybe like burn out once like all the Transformers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle things kind of die out?
Right. That's a great question, and actually I do think it'll be much more successful now. Timing is everything, right? And I think we all know, is well documented. In like 2011, the industry was down for the most part, and right now the industry is up and things are going really well. And of course, there's a ton of 80s nostalgia that's happening right now. But the great thing about Big Trouble in Little China is that nobody's ever done anything with that franchise outside of the film in terms of adding to the mythology. So this is kind of the first time that anybody's done anything with it, and I think that will help it have the longevity that we're looking for.
Another great example is actually Sons of Anarchy, right? Because Sons of Anarchy was something that the Boom team was incredibly passionate about pretty much from the first episode. And so it was something that the team pursued and really wanted to do. And again, it took about 3-4 years to get the deal done, and to have it in a place where Fox was really excited about it, Kurt Sutter was really excited about it. And when you're in the moment of things taking a while, it can be frustrating, as we all have frustrations. You're like, oh man, I really want to do this now. And when we first conceptualized it, I think we thought like, oh, this will be like an amazing little crime book, because we love crime and we love these types of stories. But in the 3 or 4 years it took for us to get the deal done, it had turned into such a phenomenon that ultimately, that launch was so much more impressive and really exciting. And I think because the show is coming to a close, Kurt, as the creator, had a much higher level of comfort of feeling like we could go in there and tell additional stories that weren't going to conflict with what he was doing.
Yeah, to jump back to when you were talking about sort of 80s nostalgia and how long it takes to get a deal done, this is going to sound very metaphysical on my part, but what I found through the years with publishing is certain things happen when they're really supposed to. And, I don't know what it is, if it's like the powers that be get it finally, or there's some crackle in the air that makes things coalesce into the right place at the right time. But generally speaking, our philosophy is we make this list of things that we earnestly love, we go and pursue them, and we're relentless, and we never stop. By the way, in the video, my card was relentless, because we're in, we commit, and we just don't give up. And then those things tip, and the things that aren't meant to be don't come together, and then the things that are happen. And what's really cool about being so passionate and loving the licenses that we pursue is that it's like you don't want to go to your job, especially when your job has a creative component to it, and basically make a widget. You know, you want to give your heart to something. You want to, you know, we only have so much time, and when that book comes out, you want to see that all that time that you put into it is reflected in a way that makes you really, really proud. And so with something like Big Trouble in Little China, when it comes together so well, John Carpenter's, you know, been amazing to work with, incredibly kind, really sensational, incredible guy to work with. Eric Powell is one of the singular talents that our business has seen in the past couple decades. Excellent guy. And it's like, that's a project that we can really, really be proud of, and we feel like we put our best foot forward. You know, Brian Chirilla is a guy that we worked with who's drawing it, who we did the anchor, and we're one of the early companies that published him. Archaia published the engineer, and so it's really cool to see all these creators coalesce together to have a project turn into something that you're super proud of, and to be able to pour your heart into it and see that come out. And you know, it's like you don't want to go to work and go, well, you know, the company that we're working with is not receptive to the different creative ideas that we're doing. This isn't a project that I really believe in. I've never really cared for this television show, or didn't really like this movie, or I don't really like this book. And I'm just kind of doing this because it pays the bills and it gets me to the next thing. You know, instead, I want to wake up in the morning excited about my job, and you know, we're very fortunate that we can do that.
That's a great point. You know, whenever we approach a new licensed project, we always ask ourselves, is this authentic and is it sincere? You know, it has to be those two things.
And you know, I think trends will come and trends will go. And sometimes a trend can capsize a really great creative project just because people can't see it forest for the trees. But at the core of it, I think what we believe is if we put our heart into the Big Trouble book and we really do the very best book that we possibly could do, then the trends can come and the trends can go, and that book will stand the test of time, and people who love that movie can read that comic book and feel like they connect with the material. And whether 80s, you know, retro nostalgia turns into something for the next 10 years or it lasts for the next year, it doesn't matter, because we still have a great comic.
Does anybody else have any other questions? You know, along those lines, I thought, you know, Stephen, the Henson relationship is really special, you know, and being able to create, you know, convey your passion and the team's passion for Jim Henson's work and his legacy has really allowed us to do some pretty amazing things with them.
Yeah, the amazing thing about the work that we've done with the Henson estate is that we're the first and only company outside of the Henson company itself to have access to the Jim Henson archives. So to be able to go into that and to explore Jim's work, I was already a fan when we got the license for Dark Crystal and Fraggle Rock and all the other wonderful Henson properties, but going in and really being able to see his genius in action and being able to bring that to the industry with projects like Tale of Sand and a whole new slew of projects that you guys don't even know about yet is really fun and really exciting, and something we could never do at any other company.
So I think we have time for one more.
Yeah, I think we have about 5 more minutes, so we're gonna.
All right, I'll be quick. Hello.
Hi. Howdy. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good. Doing great.
All right, so you were talking about the advantages of doing some all-ages comics. Are there any big pros to doing sort of 18-plus R-rated stories as well? Do you get a different market? Do you expand the market with that as well, or?
Well, I would say traditionally, probably for the past 20, 30 years, the comic book market has skewed older. Yeah. And so I would say there's less of an opportunity to expand readership with a mature reader's comic because, generally speaking, people who read comics are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. So like when you're doing all ages stuff, there's more of an audience to grab relative to the possibility of bringing kids into the medium.
Well, and also just from like a basic number standpoint, if you look around the room, right, if you say that only people that are over a certain age, you know, are going to be able to read some material because it's only appropriate for them, you've cut off a whole section of the audience that could potentially be reading and enjoying it. Like we definitely do some mature titles, obviously something like Sons of Anarchy. You can't do an authentic, sincere real Sons of Anarchy comic without it being violent and pushing the envelope.
Yeah, RoboCop is the same way. Yeah.
RoboCop.
If you guys want to
Hellraiser.
read a really incredible 18+ title that we publish, The Killer is fantastic.
Oh, The Killer's great.
Yes. Yep, that's from Archaia. And then, of course, Evil Empire that we just launched is a mature reader's book. And, I sat down with Max when he first wanted to pitch the book, and we talked about the rating on the book, and Max really believed that the mature label would give him the license to be able to really tell the story that he wanted to tell. And I think that it was intrinsic and important to the storytelling to be able to be as, shock is a part of the narrative in that story, and it's a part of delivering the sort of, there's a political message and then there's a creative message that he's driving at, and that was a tool that he has as a storyteller and as arsenal to use, and I think it was important for him to be able to be freed up to do that. So, I think it's something that, we really believe that not every project is the same, and what we need to do is we need to focus in on how do we do each specific project service to the way that, it organically can tell its story, and, with Evil Empire, it was important to have the mature reading.
Yeah, from
rating.
the creative standpoint, I've never been told no. So in a sense, if I want to do an all ages project, then I'm setting up for an all ages project. And if these guys hear a different project that's, we got one that's like seems like a much more mature readers project by the same creator, I get encouraged to do the same, to do that project too. So I don't think there's any mandate for it. It's just, is it a good project?
Yep. Well put. Cool.
So I think thank you. Yeah, thank you. So I think that's all we have time for today. Really appreciate everybody that came out and spent some time with us. We encourage you to visit us on the Sky Bridge. You can't not walk past our booth, I don't think. You'll know it's our booth because there's a gigantic sign on the other side that says Boom. So I hope you guys make it up there and get to meet our team. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So many battles waged over the years. And yet, none of them like this. Are we destined to destroy each other? Or can we change who we are and unite? Is the future truly set? Mutants, we now find ourselves on the edge of extinction. You'll need to go into the past to end this war before it ever begins.
Use your power. Bring the X-Men together.
It's going to take the two of us, side by side at a time when we couldn't be further apart.
You took the things that mean the most to me.
Maybe you should have fought harder for them.
There is a new enemy out there. Mutants. You'll need a new weapon for this war.
I know what I have to do. It's us or them.
All those years wasted fighting each other, Charles.
I've watched a lot of people die. Friends.
We've been given a second chance.
Guide us. Lead us.
I don't want your future! We were supposed to protect them!
You're afraid. I remember.
No, they
Why-
never put good stuff.
why
It's
can
a
they put-
hotel candy.
Why can't they put chocolate?
Because it's hotel candy.
Well, chocolate, hotels have
No,
candy.
they put the fruit stuff that lasts forever. This is stuff that you find in your grandmother's closet. After
My grandmother's dead. Thanks for bringing that up.
That's exactly what I'm saying. When my grandmother died, we found this like petrified candy.
What?
I have, thank you.
So, now that I'm done fucking around, no one here is young, right? All right.
Should we have made this an 18 plus?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's early.
So thank you all for coming. Today we are talking about
10 years.
10 years. 10 years of Blind Ferret. 10 years of Least I Could Do. 7 years of LFG. 4 years of Gutters. What else
How
did we
many
do?
years of Bears?
2 years. That's not as impressive.
No, it's
Like-
4 years of Bears.
No, it's not 4 years.
Bear is 4 years old.
It's not 4 years old. It's like 3 years old.
He's 4. It was his 4th birthday this year.
No, oh, my kid.
That's
is
what I'm
4.
talking about.
I thought you were talking about the book.
No, I'm talking about, but the book essentially started with your kid.
Yeah, but like he had to like grow a personality first. So it wasn't like when he was, like I only started writing when he was like 1, when he was interesting.
Okay, fine.
If any of you have kids, you know what I'm saying, right? Babies are boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, babies suck.
They're meat tubes for the first
They're
while.
nothing. I have, we just had twins, and my sperm is that crazy. And they're 10 months old, and they just started getting like somewhat fun because they can like react to you somewhat and kind of know who you are. But the first 6 months suck.
Yeah.
So I guess don't have kids. Is what I'm saying. I'm just kidding. They're my joy.
Really, just adopt somebody with their own apartment already, and have them over for dinner occasionally.
Honestly, just get a cat. Shorter lifespans, less expensive. What else? Cool sandpaper tongues.
Yeah. They're adorable.
That's a weird thing to say. Huh?
Yeah,
Potty
you know,
trained.
you do a laser pointer in front of a 6-month-old, nothing. A cat there.
Hey guys,
it's
can you
the
hear me?
best goddamn thing in the world.
Awesome. Welcome
So-
to the next panel.
10
There,
years.
I just wanted to give you a couple little
I'm not really sure what you
reminders.
guys want us to talk about. So we can
There
just
is
kinda do
photography
whatever.
allowed, but
'Cause
please no
obviously
flash
we've been doing
photography.
this
So
for
turn your flashes off
a
and your
decade
cameras.
apparently, a little over.
If you have
Actually
cell
for
phones,
10 years,
please turn
so
your
that's
cell phone
pretty
on
crazy
silent
to
or
think about.
vibrate.
Blind
And
Ferret